Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm probably that guy, I would imagine. Now, one thing about Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Two Ball Tires podcast with my buddy Jason Moses, owner of Moses AutoMall right here in Huntington. And we've got a special guest, Adam, and I'll let Jason introduce him. But we're going to talk some parts here, aftermarket versus, the real deal that you get at the dealership and so forth. And I was telling Jason I was going to tell this story real quick. I was in Tampa when I was doing radio down there. I was going through a really bad divorce, and funds were froze. I couldn't move. That's all I could do to survive. And I had a Lexus LS 430 or 420 or something. I forgot what it was. And I took it to a muffler shop. And the guy, I needed a muffler. It was loud. It sounded like the catalytic converter was missing. It was so loud. And the guy said, well, man, we don't really have that particular muffler for this thing. But he said, I got an idea how we can fix it for a lot cheaper. And I said, yeah, because I ain't got no money. And that dude went to the vending machine, swear on my mother's life. He went to the vending machine, bought a Coca-Cola, took the Coke can, poured the Coke out of it, cut the can in half, crawled up under it, and put that Coke can over that hole that was in that muffler, and then wired it some way around it, duct taped it, I don't know what he did, and cranked it up. I drove that thing. I kept it for 2 years down there, and when I drove here, I still had that car with that Coke can underneath that muffler right there. Now, Adam, is that the way to do it right there?
Probably not. That's probably not the way you want to repair your car.
Go ahead.
So Adam Adkins has been with us. He's just telling us almost 50, or right around 15 years. Yeah. He was a tech before he was the parts manager of the store. So he probably has heard or seen similar things, but before.
I've seen a lot of stuff like that.
But
that guy was a genius.
That's different.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of genius that we don't do that, I'm sure, here at Moses, I can tell you. But, Nick and Jason and everybody was wanting us to talk a little bit about the part system and, aftermarket parts. Is that the way you should go? No aftermarket parts? What do you think, Jason? What's your opinion on all that?
Well, we always suggest that you go with the OEM, original equipment manufacturer parts, because they're actually designed. Yes, that's what OEM stands for. They're actually designed for the vehicle. That's what the vehicle came with. Aftermarket, there's good quality and poor quality aftermarket parts, and sometimes you can save money and sometimes you can't. We were talking about this the other day with an alternator on a Nissan or something like that.
Oh, yeah. We've had not very good luck with aftermarket parts on especially Nissan or any brand for that matter. It just seems like the aftermarket, you end up changing it 2 or 3 times in a year or something, but you get an OEM one and they generally last, 5+ years, but the aftermarket ones just doesn't seem to be nowhere near the quality of the OEM alternators, especially, or electronic parts for that matter. But
so what happens is you end up going the cheap route that ends up costing you more money in the long run. Sounds like
have to end up paying labor twice or 3 times to get and eventually putting the OE one on in the long run. So
penny smart, dollar dumb.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm probably that guy, I would imagine. Now, one thing about, OEM parts and that sort of thing, how does that affect a warranty? Like I've seen before where it says if you do this, it'll, if you put a automatic starter on a car that's not, Honda on a Honda, then it voids your warranty. Is that the case as well on stuff like that?
Yeah, that probably is very true. I mean, it is very rare that we have a warranty repair, if they can't find an original equipment part, that every great once in a while you'll find the OE saying, hey, if you find one, we'll let you know if it's usable in the situation and to get the car back on the road. But that is a very rare situation using aftermarket parts on a warranty repair. But
You've probably seen it all.
I have seen it, putting like lifts and stuff on vehicles, kind of avoids some of the suspension components, putting aftermarket stuff like that on. But, OEM's the way to go. It really is. It's just a quality repair. You get a good product, and they always offer the parts and labor warranty with the repair. So that's a plus. And what we've seen here in the last 4 or 5 years, that the OEM and aftermarket parts are just about in the same price range than before. An aftermarket part would be like maybe even half the price of an OE part, but nowadays it's a lot closer to about the same price.
Yeah, so I wonder why in the world would anybody even want to go down the road of an aftermarket when you can get the OEM and have that peace of mind, the warranty, the whole 9 yards?
It's just a lot of people just not knowing that the OE parts are, just about the same price point as the aftermarket nowadays. And sometimes we've found that they're even cheaper. Yeah. It's surprising, but it is very true.
It's kind of a case-by-case basis. I mean, sometimes, there's certain components where I think you'd really be crazy to consider an aftermarket part. And then there's other times when the aftermarket, has a high-quality product at maybe even a lesser price. But in general, I think it's good practice to use the original equipment.
I'll tell you what, that's when, man, it's so important to have somebody like that cat sitting right there that can lead you in the right direction, because I'm sure honest as the day is long there and lead you in the right direction to get the right part versus, going the cheap way out and it come back to haunt you 6 months later, I would imagine.
Well, we've seen it all, I mean, this cars just come in out of here, and so you get experience with what works and what doesn't work, right? I mean,
yes.
That makes sense.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Almost every tech I've ever dealt with, when they ask them about an alternator, they go to price an alternator, and they're like, you want me to price your aftermarket and OE? And they're like, nope, OE.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, there's no maybe, but they're just always like, yeah, definitely just price OE alternators. It's just one of them things.
It's like in our shop, mainly we deal with Nissans, Cadillacs, GMCs, mainly, right? That's what we're doing, taking care of our customers and those brands. But the body shop, the collision center, right? Yeah. Really sees, you name it. It could be any type of vehicle. And so we have to source our parts a little bit. We have to be a little bit more creative, I guess.
Oh, definitely.
How do you source all that kind of stuff out? I mean, is there websites? I mean,
we use a program called Parts Trader, and there's one, I can't think of the other name of it, but it's just a program that has it's got a bunch of dealers on, it's got a bunch of junkyards on it, it's got a bunch of aftermarket sources on it, like AutoZone's directly linked to it, Advance is. So you just, look through it and piece it together, like where you can get it within what the insurance has limited you the
allocated.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of makes it tough sometimes too, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in a case like that when the insurance allocates X amount of dollars and you sit there, honest as the day is long, and said, we can't do it? I mean, how do you
generally you get a no quote?
That?
You get a no quote, and then just with that no quote, you turn it into the insurance company, and then they come back at you and say, well, here, we found this situation for you, that this OE will sell this to you at X amount.
So they get involved at that point.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, they definitely get involved.
I didn't know that.
Another interesting thing, so Adam is certified to drive a forklift.
Uh-oh.
We have a forklift.
Yeah.
And it's to haul engines and transmissions and the batteries.
Yeah.
Every time I see the forklift out in the street, I get nervous. Because I've seen these guys do some things with that forklift. I'm like, I'm not really sure that's why we got the forklift for that.
Hey, they got insurance. Don't worry about it, Adam. Just roll with it.
I've set many of things on top of these buildings around here with that forklift.
I bet you Jason don't know that, does he?
You
do that when he's a snowshoe, I bet.
Most of the time it was next door. They're trying to get a AC or heater unit replaced, and they're like, hey, can you come over and put this on top of the building for us? Like,
you don't want to be here when they do that, do you?
I didn't know we're doing stuff for the other building now.
Oh, yeah. Well, Adam's no longer with us now. 15 years shot right here on this podcast. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all. Do you have any connections over there? So